This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 56 of the Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we talk with Jean-Pierre, massage therapist in Wellington, Florida. We learn about the Challenge of the Americas Grand Prix Quadrille competition, which raises funds for breast cancer research. Tigger delves into hay analysis. And in Coffee Clatch, we talk with Laura Papard on dealing with grief over the loss of a horse or pet. Join us.
Hi, girls. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing?
Woo!
What's new?
It's summer here in Florida. How about you?
It's getting there. It's still a little cold here. How about Wellington? It's hot down there,
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot.
What's hot? Tell me hot. What's hot? Give me a number.
Oh, upper 80s.
That's hot. Yeah, that's warm. I wear a jacket until it's about 85, but
You were destined to live in Florida, I think, really.
no, well, yeah, it's a whole hurricane thing. Here's the thing. I just talked to somebody in Virginia. It's already broken. It's like, I think it was 69 or 70 today. So, which is a great lead into Tigger. I'm moving back to Virginia.
I know.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
That's right. It's public. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And then I just have to be in Wellington in the winters, which is what will happen next year. But yeah, so that it will be nice and warm everywhere I go. I do like chillier weather. I just don't like it to be chilly and gray for long periods of time. So it's good to get in the car and go south.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. Tigger's like, and it's ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. I want to be on my farm.
I had to go out, and this past weekend, Glenn and I just got back from a cruise on vacation. So the first thing I had to do was clip Scooter when I got back. Glenn's Hackney Pony Scooter gets a winter coat that's a little bit, it's exactly like a grizzly bear. So I shaved all of it off, and it was so funny because I got the clippers out and I took a swipe across his middle, and he sighed a giant sigh, and his eyes closed, and he says, "I've been waiting weeks for this."
Where have you been, mother? You're on vacation and I'm in a sweater and 80 degrees.
Yes, exactly. So I shaved him from the tip of his little tiny nose to his coronets, and
I bet he loved that.
He feels so much better, and he's so fat.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's nice to get underneath all that hair and see that you've been feeding your pony well.
Yeah, he's nice and fat. Yeah. There we go.
Well,
I'm going to have to listen to Critter Nutrition this time and make sure I'm getting this right, because he sure is fat.
Yeah. Don't get Tigger started. We have too big of a show.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover.
I was going to say maybe the first step is Jean-Pierre. Scooter needs a good massage.
That
circulation going.
I think that's a grand idea. Let's chat with Jean-Pierre. I like it.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
And we're here with my favorite massage therapist, Jean-Pierre Houdebay. Welcome, Jean-Pierre.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I sing your praises all the time. You work on my dogs. You work on me. You work on everybody I know, horses. What are some of the common areas with riders that are areas of their bodies that get tight or stuck or need body work?
I mean, you're talking about the riders, regardless of discipline.
Right.
The most common problem is low back with the psoas locking up, the hip flexors. So your psoas and the iliacus, which we know as iliopsoas, they get locked up. So they have lower back pain. And because of that lower back pain, there is referred pain upstream on the spine, which cause upper back tension as well. But that's secondary. Meanwhile, the hip flexors will cause low back pain. And then by the time you work on the leg, as you know, they keep moving the leg between forward and backward, depending on what they want to do the horse to do. The hip flexors get really locked up. So that inside the groin and upper thigh is sometimes very painful, with radiating pain down the leg, like similar to sciatic pain.
And how about in horses?
Well, with the horses, it varies a lot with the discipline, but the most common tight part is, again, the hip flexors. In other words, for the horse, is at the level of T18, L1, 2, and 3. That's the attachment of the psoas. And as you know, in dressage, they try to get the horse engaged underneath him. So that really stretched that, put a lot of effort on that psoas muscle. And with a jumper, they have to really thrust hard to push for that takeoff. And again, that's a big stress on the psoas. So that would be the most common area. Afterwards, the neck is probably second because of the reception of the landing, the turning on a dime, with the horses in dressage, keeping up that pose of piaffing and all that jazz. The neck gets a lot of stress.
And there's a lot of, I would think, the same or different kind of stress in the neck for the jumpers who are just extending the neck to get over a fence.
The jumpers have neck issue, but it will be more at the level of the lower neck, C7, T1, the first couple of ribs, because of the jarring of the landing.
Of course.
In most jump, they don't land square. By the time they land, they still have the butt in the air. So you've got a 1,500 pounds on average, a 1,500-pound horses who lands on the forehand. The rider is already turning his head toward the next jump. So the horse is following that lead. So depending on the first foreleg that lands, he's already twisting his body with the butt in the air toward the next jump. And that put a lot of torque on that upper thorax. So the withers get to become a very strong, stressed area. And remember, the early thorax is 60% of the weight of the horse.
Wow.
So when you multiply that with the weight of the rider, the saddle, plus the velocity at the speed, when you have speed classes and they're jumping high and they land hard and they have to speed up to the next thing, that's a tremendous amount of force going on that area.
And how about in dogs? What's a common area where they get tight?
Well, again, the hip flexors for propulsion. Now, with dogs, it's a very different story. And I'm not trying to be sorry. I have too many things I want to say at once. Again, the hip flexors are the same thing. What you have is two sets of dogs. You have the dogs who are athletics because they are already from day one athletic and they run a lot and they have the chance to go exercise on a regular basis. They're on the farm or they have a big garden or they're out all the time. And then you have the weekend dog warrior, who is at home all day long because the pet parent is working, and then on the weekend they work hard. So those guys have different problems, if you understand my drift.
Yeah.
So the weekend warrior will have more like an overall body soreness because they're not used to exercise, so everything gets sore. With the athletic dog, depending again on the discipline, you will have definitely the hip flexors, especially with jumps and pushing hard or pulling or jumping or whatever because of the hip flexor. But one of the most leading type of problem we see today with the modern agility dog is the bicipital bursitis. So in other words, is inflammation of the bursa at the point of shoulder, especially with the wave poles.
Oh, that makes sense.
So all those movements which are not natural for the dog at all. Right. Unless it's chasing a very crazy rabbit, it never does that job in a regular life.
I just know that rabbits go through those weave poles.
They
weave, they bob, they weave.
Yeah, that constant switching to one side to the other.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you see a dog go on the show, it does it once. But how many times did he repeat that to get there?
Right.
Right. And sometime on a weekend, he's going to do a 3 or 10 time warm up. Then he does a show, and that's one class. Then he does another class, and maybe another class. So this guy is doing it probably 100 times over the weekend.
Right.
So it's stress.
So what, Jean-Pierre? What is your advice for first riders, and then their advice for their horses and advice for their dogs in trying to manage these hip, lower back areas?
Well, I think that there is several things you can recommend pet owners, whether they are horse or dogs, is indeed to get involved, hands-on. So one thing would be to learn to develop already existing palpation skills. So you just need to become aware of what you can palpate a bit more and learn to recognize signs of inflammation. So that will be the first one. Then also learning to do some gentle stretches, because an animal who is fit will always give you the same range of motion during a stretch. So if you get used to stretch your animal regularly, whether it's a horse or a dog, you know what to expect. The moment the dog is or the horse is not giving you the same range of motion, you know there's compensation. There's something tight that not allowing him to stretch as usual. So that's already a giveaway. Third, and also most important, is nutrition, because a lot of that inflammation.
Oh, you are singing my song.
Well, the nutrition is the basis. We become what we eat. And if an animal who exercises a lot doesn't have what it takes to maintain his body, guess what? It's going to fall apart. The same way, if you don't put the right oil or the right gas in your car, you're not going to go very far. So, there's a lot of minerals, there's a lot of vitamins that goes into the composition of the body tissues, especially the tendons and ligaments that support the skeleton. And if an animal is lacking those, and you do the repetition of all those movements, sooner or later it's going to fall apart, and it's going to start to be inflamed. And before you know it, you're going to have micro tearing and so on and so on. So,
well, my solution is just to call you on the phone and make it.
Yeah, but
sounds like a good solution.
That's why I try to promote classes on to people to learn to educate themselves on their palpation skills, some basic massage, so they know how to make the dog feel good. Meanwhile, as they palpate key areas, they can evaluate. I have that beautiful book for dogs called Troubleshooting Your Dog, and for horses called Fitness Evaluation of the Horse, with a 25-point palpation routine that will identify the key areas on an animal. And as you do a gentle massage to your animal, the animal feels great because he feels loved, being touched and pampered. And you do your palpation evaluation, you do a few stretches, and you know how your animal is doing. And if something shows up as, wow, this is doubtful, then you can call the therapist or the vet and get it taken care of. However, there's a difference between a key area having a problem versus a general condition. And usually when you have general condition of inflammation, it has to do with like nutrition, lack of minerals and vitamins. And believe me, I have so many horses and dogs through the season that come to me, and that's where the problem is. The animal is fine, it's trained fine, the people are doing the right thing. It's just the animal doesn't have what it takes to sustain the stress.
So where can we get hold of these books, Jean-Pierre?
Well, there is some of them are sold at different tax stores and online at different point of sales, and also on my website, which is Massage Awareness, and also animalawareness.com.
Can you also get them through Amazon?
Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, and then subsidiary of those.
Can you repeat the names of the books?
Well, for the dog, it's called Troubleshooting Your Dog.
Okay.
And then the other one for horses is called Fitness Evaluation of the Horse.
So I have a question that's not specific to types of the massage itself. How, most people that I know that do massage, they either do people, they may do people and horses, but you do dogs. What got you into sort of all of that? How did you end up where you are now?
Well, it's a particular. I was born in a family of healers, and then at a young age, I learned to work on people, laying of hands, bone setting, as it's called back then, before chiropractic and all that. And when I moved to Canada, I used to be a technician working on satellites, and I moved to Canada, and I got tired of working this free shift and all that. And I heard of massage school, and I said, "Whoa, what a great line of work! It will allow me to travel the world and have adventures and do a job that I love to do." So I became a massage therapist for humans and started working with Sports Canada, and really enjoyed following teams and having great times in the Olympics and all that jazz.
Oh, fun.
And at one point, I went back to love of horses. So I started applying what I had learned as a human onto animals and start to do it here and there for friends. And at some point, somebody asked me to put a little clinic together to help educate people on stretching their horse and some basic massage. And that's when I realized, that was in the late 80s, early 90s, that there was no book to refer them to. And I realized there's a niche there. And then, today I have I just published 13 books so far. So it's all good. And indeed, working with the horses, you quickly go to the dogs. I love dogs as well. And most horse people have dogs. So it became only too natural to do dogs. And my publisher with the horse would say, hey, do you have something you can do with the dogs? And indeed. So we did that with the dogs as well.
Wow. That's really neat. That's neat.
It's interesting how the fields are very different because in the horse, people, in a certain aspect of the industry of the horse, people are willing to pay to maintain their horse because it's a way to compete and to earn a living or
yeah.
Where with dogs, it's a very different story. The dog is part of the family, and it's part of the furniture. We just go out and socialize and play agility or whatever else at the dog park. So it's a different mentality, and people are a little bit more, how do you call that? Some people
resistant.
Will not resistant would be the word. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
They will not invest as much.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have those diehard that will love to take a one-day course where they learn to pamper their pet and so on. And that's why I have that one-day clinic to help people learn to basic massage. And if they want afterward, they can buy books and learn to do more. But at least you could do a basic full body massage, gentle stretching, and use also heat and cold pads to assist, especially with the elderly dog, because so much can be done to improve on aging dog body and lifestyle. So many older dogs can hardly move because of arthritis. Well, if you take the time to stimulate circulation, do a little stretching, those animals will feel so much better quickly. And I mean, you make a difference for the last 2 or 3 years of that animal. Big time. Time. And we're not talking about injections and taking drugs to mask the pain. Just a very natural way. So much you can be doing for the animal.
That's pretty neat. So when you say you do these classes, where do you do them? Do you do them when you're in Wellington?
All over. I'm always reception. I travel a lot, so whenever people organize them for me, I have agility club that organize something. They know I'm going to come by, so they tell the people, and we have a group, and then we'll do that. Different thing. If people contact me, in the off season, I have more free time to do private tutoring because it doesn't take long to learn. When I try to organize a group, the problem with the group is to have a space big enough and to have dogs obedient to stay quiet during the class.
Oh, yeah. It's just like people. Come on.
Well, that's it. It's a challenge. And I mean, usually when I have people that are serious, that want to learn the massage part, when I do an educational program, I try to do private tutoring. I might get 2 or 3 people together, and that's it, because we want to keep the quality versus a quality.
That makes sense. Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
And so the dogs don't get too agitated, because if you have one rambunctious dog, that disturbs the whole group, and you lose a lot of time calming those dogs instead of learning.
Right. That would be Tigger's dog.
Yeah.
well, she's getting to like her massage.
Yeah.
Well, I will say to our listeners, Jean-Pierre travels up and down the East Coast all summer and fall. So you don't have to be in Wellington, Florida to take advantage of his skills. So we have his phone number on the Healthy Critters website. So don't hesitate to take advantage of his skills and his great sense of humor and his great energy. So thank you so much, Jean-Pierre.
It was wonderful.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always to pass to get people excited about learning, knowing that they can learn to better care for their pets.
And if you don't feel up to it, just have Jean-Pierre do it.
That's right.
Do
said Tigger.
Okay, thanks, Jean-Pierre.
All
Thanks,
right.
Jean-Pierre. Did you say?
Hello,
Hetty.
Eddie.
Patty and Tickle, Tickle and Patty.
You
Is
forgot.
Jennifer or Glenn?
It's Jennifer this week.
Oh, fortune has shined upon us.
Poor
I'm
Glenn.
so grateful. Yes, well, poor Glenn. When Glenn apologizes for his rude comments, then perhaps I will forgive him and allow my grace to shine upon him. But until then, no.
So, Hetty, we understand you have another song.
You know, my singing career is taking off, as it were. But I did want to talk about my sister, but I guess I could do singing and we could talk about my sister another time. Would that be preferable?
Which would you like to do?
This is tough.
Well, I mean, I would like to interview my sister about our servant, but perhaps we should do that another day.
Is your
Okay.
singing
I
voice
mean,
is your
it's
singing
really-
voice
it's-
good today? I mean, performers have to be, prepared.
Well, it's true. I never really know, will I be perfect or just acceptably amazing? But I do try.
Yeah, I want the
So,
song.
you know.
I want the song. I don't know about you guys, but I want the
Okay.
song.
Yeah, I'm voting for the song.
I'm voting for the song.
Song, please.
All right. Stand by your team and tell the world you love it. Do not let anyone take it away. Stand by your team. Put some cheddar on toast and then put it in the fire. Stand by your team. Cheese is the only food group I like to stand with my team.
Another classic cheese song from
Yes,
Hetty.
Thank you, Hetty. Thank you very much.
No
Feel
problem.
inspired.
I just,
What?
I- it's
No
just,
doubt.
it's obvious that just asking her to sing at drop of a hat is just not an issue. Just never going to be an issue. She's a performer, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm
She's a performer.
considering a whole new set of lyrics to The Gambler.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, this could be one to hear as well for our future show.
There was one you
Yes,
were
you
singing to me
wait.
the other night.
Which one was that? I can't keep up with myself.
It was from The Sound of Music.
Oh, Tiggy and my favorite, right, Tiggs?
Oh, yes. That's right. I'd forgotten about that. Cheddar and Brie and Gouda and Munster. Cheddar and Brie and Gouda and Emmentaler. Swiss and Munster and Cheddar and Brie. These are a few of my favorite things.
I think I even like that one better. My face hurts.
Me too.
Okay, well
Just wait
done.
till you hear my version of The Gambler about the Wellington dressage season.
Ooh.
Well.
Save that for next time, Hetty.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have forgotten about it because my brilliance has a relatively short attention span.
Well, just get your servant to write it down.
Yeah.
You know how disobedient she is, Tigger. Please don't remind me what it's like living in this torture.
Well, I'll tell you
Well.
what. I'll get you a little tape recorder, and you can sing it into it, and then we'll have it.
Well, that might be a good idea because, the servant, she can barely remember her name or where she is or what day it is or where she's supposed to be at any given moment.
So it sort of would be like Tigger would be your executive assistant.
Her agent.
Is Tigger looking for work?
Apparently so. She wants to get into recording, I think.
Well,
she
I
can
have an
probably
idea.
travel on my jet with me.
Oh, yeah.
I
that
think Patty
Because I'm
should
going to
be.
get one.
we'll have a Hetty sing-alongs, Hetty show.
A
And
Hetty
I
show.
think Patty should be like the lead-in act of comedy, the stand-up comedian. And I'll just be in the agent, and Jennifer will be in charge of, all sound, lighting, special effects.
It sounds like a plan.
And karaoke.
Yeah, I see a new future for me. I'm just saying.
I'm just, as long as I get, a jet and cheese.
A cheesy jet. A cheesy jet.
A cheesy
well,
jet.
I need
cheesy
a jet.
jet.
And then I need my sister because she's my emotional support dog.
Well, that's good.
And I need my servant because I hate to think of what would happen to her without me.
Right. That's so kind of you, and
she
so
would probably just.
hearted.
Oh, I know. My benevolence knows no boundaries.
All right, Hetty.
I just don't
thank
like it
you.
when the truck stops.
Yeah,
Good
obviously.
night.
Good night, Hetty.
Goodbye. I am
Bye.
just now. I have to go kill the servant. Goodbye.
Okay, good job. And we're here with Mary Ross from the Challenge of the Americas. Welcome, Mary.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Patty and I and Jennifer and certainly almost everybody in the horse world in Florida knows about the Challenge of the Americas, which raises money for breast cancer research.
Yes.
And it's the big event in Wellington in March. But Mary, as the organizer and founder, what led you to create this?
Well, my mother passed away from breast cancer, and I wanted to honor her memory. And I just always loved the musical dressage, and I had seen a pas de trois on a video, and I must have watched it 8 times, over and over and over. And so I started thinking, Mother liked horses as well, and I thought, what a beautiful way to honor her memory
and
help raise money for, breast cancer research. So I actually knew the president of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation and Play for Pink. And so we got to talking, and they thought it would be great to have a fundraiser in the equestrian community. So that's how it got started. We started
How many years ago?
Yeah, that's just going to ask. How long ago?
We started in 2002. I've taken only, I believe, 2 years off since. So where are we? My math isn't the best. So I think we're at 14. This will be our 14th year.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Wow. That's awesome.
13th or 14th year, and we started as a pas de trois because that's what I was kind of hooked on. And then the funny part of it was it's grown so big over the years. But when I first started it, everybody said it's not going to work. Nobody's going to have time to do it. Oh, yeah. The trainers, they won't be able to take time out of their schedules, because it's busy.
Oh, sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I wanted it to be at the level of the Grand Prix because I thought, I just think I just wanted it at the top level. And it's not, quadrilles are great at any level, but I kind of made us different because I went straight to Grand Prix. But anyway, everybody said no, it wouldn't happen. So I asked 3 riders, and all 3 of them immediately said yes. And then somebody talked about Terry Gallo. I asked her, she said yes. So
Awesome.
I mean, we literally put on this little performance at a luncheon at a horse show, the Palm Beach Dressage Derby.
Wow.
And it's every year somebody would say, hey, I want to ride in that. I want to ride that. And, we just kept growing. And so now we're up to, I think this year we have 37 riders.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah. We went from the luncheon to Under the Lights, the Global Dressage Festival. And it's just, everybody seems to like it. And people do want to participate. So
yeah.
It's worked out. Everybody has fun. It's fun and it's for a great cause.
Yeah, it certainly is.
And you've got something really unique and different this year, Mary, because now you don't have to be in Wellington to watch it.
Yes, let's hear about that.
Well, we have been invited to live stream the challenge on the USCF network. and I'm a little nervous about it. We hadn't done it before, but it'll be great because I have always gotten emails and Facebook messages. Why don't you live stream this? We heard about it. We want to see it too. So it's actually going to happen. So I certainly hope everybody tunes in.
Absolutely.
And also different this year is we have a team competing from Holland. They're
Wonderful.
coming via video at the live performance.
Oh,
They'll be
that's
up on the
neat.
big screen. And of course, on the live stream, I've been told that it's just like seamlessly. They plop it in there and you wouldn't even know the difference. And that's what we hope to do next year. We're going to expand for more European teams. That's how we're going to expand. So it's fun. I mean, I'm excited about the Holland team. I can't wait to see them.
Oh, I can't even imagine how cool this is to go from a luncheon to live streaming a Holland team. I mean, wow, that's incredible.
So, Mary,
I guess people seem to like it.
If somebody, if our listeners want to tune in, how do they get to the live stream?
Well, they will go to the USEF network, and when they get to the USEF, they go to usef.org, where the USEF network is.
Okay.
And usually, you have to be a member to watch any of their videos on their website, but for the challenge, there will be giving out. What we'll be doing is on Facebook. Always check our Facebook page, because if anything new's coming up, it's going to be on that page. And what's going to happen is USEF is going to give a code, and when somebody goes to their website to watch the video, they'll put in the code, and they will be allowed to watch it, free of cost.
Awesome.
But we also have an app that they can download, and which will allow them to actually vote for the teams they like best.
Oh,
and we will have a popular vote, but it will not come in until the next day because we have a team from Holland.
Right.
And we have to let Europe vote.
And you will also be able to donate to breast cancer research on the night of the challenge.
Right. These riders that perform in the challenge, or particularly in the quadrilles at the end, the 6-rider Grand Prix quadrille, they spend a couple months practicing every single week. I mean, they really are supporting the cause. And, if somebody's watching and they're enjoying themselves, we certainly hope, or we really hope that they will click on the link and donate what they can to help us raise more money for breast cancer research.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm honored to be a part of it, and I hope all Healthy Critters listeners will go to USEF, that's United States Equestrian Federation.org. It's March 9th. What time does it start, Mary?
It starts at 6 o'clock.
So tune in at 6. And you can check on the Challenge of the Americas on Facebook. And we have information on the Healthy Critters Radio website. That's healthycrittersradio.com. Thank you, Mary.
But if they have a question, just message us on Facebook.
Wonderful. Okay. What a great cause, and what a wonderful thing that you did in honor of your mother. And look how big it's gotten, and it's just amazing. So congratulations on where it's going. But it's always been such a highlight for the season, and just a great thing. So this is awesome.
Well, I hope you all can find a way to get down here, because we'd love to have you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
And now we're at Critter Nutrition, and I'm going to talk about hay analysis. I routinely look at hay analysis sent by customers needing an interpretation of the data. There has been a trend in hay nutritional quality the last few years that reflects weather conditions and farming practices. We have arrived at a point in the care of our horses where hay analysis is imperative, not only for the metabolic horses, but for all horses. Why? Protein levels have dropped in hay such as Timothy and orchard grass. I've recently seen a mixed orchard Timothy hay analysis showing protein at 6% and a whopping 17% NSC. Ideally, we'd like to see the opposite, 17% protein and 6% NSC. Performance horses, young growing horses, pregnant mares, older horses, horses recovering from injury need higher protein values. NDF and ADF. ADF in a hay analysis measures cellulose and lignin, the least digestible plant components. ADF values increase as hay maturity increases, and these higher values mean lower digestibility. Hays that are too high in indigestible fibers can increase the risk of GI tract disturbances, particularly in the hindgut. NDF in a hay analysis measures all the fiber in the plant, hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin. The higher percentage of NDF and ADF, the more lignin the hay contains. Lignin has very low digestibility in horses. I commonly see hay analysis with an NDF of 65% or higher. Kathleen Crandall, PhD and equine nutritionist with Virginia Tech's Middleburg Agricultural Research and Extension Center, estimates that high-quality forages tend to have ADF of 25 to 35% and NDF at 35 to 55%. Lower quality hays will have an ADF of 35 to 45% and an NDF of 55 to 70. She cautions against feeding hay that is over 65% NDF because it increases the risk of impaction. Good quality hay will have more leaf than stem. Very leafy hay will be lower in ADF and NDF and will be more digestible. Vitamins and minerals. Vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene and vitamin E, which fresh forage provides, lose potency during hay storage. The longer the hay is stored, the more these fat-soluble vitamins degrade. We are seeing hay now tested after baling with low vitamin E levels. Common also is to see low levels of specific minerals, magnesium, zinc, copper, selenium, and sodium. Weather is something a farmer can't control, but how the soil is nurtured is revealing more and more about the limitations and problems with industrial farming and ultimately the quality of hay. Among the critical elements of the soil matrix are microbes and fungi. They break down decaying plant matter to create a rich biomass and help convert inorganic forms of minerals like carbonates and oxides into organic forms that the young growing plants need. Long-term chemical fertilizer applications on fields significantly affect soil microbial communities by reducing their population, lowering carbon content, and they lead to acidification of soils. Organic fertilizers such as manure support the microbial communities in the soil, as well as a higher soil pH and an increase in the soil carbon and nitrogen levels. Because the microbes are so important for converting earth minerals to organic forms the plants can use, higher mineral content is often found in hay that has been grown without chemical fertilizers such as nitrogen. Farmers are being encouraged by Monsanto to use the herbicide glyphosate, Roundup, as a desiccant applied to the hay after cutting. A study published March 2010 in Plant and Soil, Volume 328, Issue 1 through 2, highlighted a significant decrease in macro and micronutrients in the leaf tissues of soybean plants after glyphosate use. The three minerals most likely to be deficient in glyphosate-sprayed plants are magnesium, copper, and zinc. These are the same minerals that are often deficient in hay. Some farmers use glyphosate to kill weeds in their pastures because they say horse owners don't want to see weeds in their hay bales. Of course, we don't want to see toxic weeds in our hay, but if glyphosate reduces the mineral content of our hay, maybe a few friendly weeds in our hay should not be our biggest concern. To balance the nutritional deficiencies, if you need to increase protein, add alfalfa hay, 26% protein, or alfalfa pellets or cues, 15 to 17% protein. Alfalfa is a complete protein for horses, providing all the essential amino acids. You can add coconut meal, Cool Stance, which provides 20% protein, and Renew Gold, which is coconut meal and rice bran, which provides 15%. Renew Gold would not be the best choice for metabolic horses due to the high NSC of rice bran. Common ingredients for equine protein supplements are whey protein isolate or whey protein concentrate, which are denatured during the high heat processing and acid flushes. This strips the way of other beneficial factors, including nutrients and peptides and immune factors. Soy isolate is a common ingredient in protein formulas and muscle building formulas. Soy is genetically modified, the crop commonly sprayed with glyphosate. Soy has endocrine disrupting compounds. Look for protein and muscle building formulas with undenatured whey protein and no soy. Vitamins and minerals, even if you're feeding a complete feed, it's formulated on typical hay analysis of many years ago. It is imperative to add a multivitamin mineral if your hay tests low on critical nutrients, vitamin E, beta-carotene, zinc, copper, selenium, magnesium. If both your forage and your hay is low in vitamin E, you may need to add additional vitamin E supplementation even when feeding a multivitamin mineral. Get a CBC. It's very important to pull a complete CBC blood panel every year or twice a year on your horse, particularly a performance horse. If a certain mineral such as magnesium or zinc or copper is low, then you know to supplement or add foods that are high in that particular mineral. Remember, getting a hay analysis is important to ensure your horse is getting the nutrients and protein and digestible fiber he needs. Getting a CBC done at least once a year is important for maintaining a baseline of health and for knowing where nutritional imbalances may be occurring before they become a problem. If you want to know more about this article and read it in full, you can go to biostarus.com, go to our article section, and the complete hay analysis article is there.
Or you can just go to the website, go to horseradionetwork.com and go to the Healthy Critters Radio episode 56, and we will have a link to that article right there in the show notes. Ta-da!
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
So we are now at our coffee clatch, and we have a guest that is absolutely near and dear to my heart, who's been a longtime family friend, and Laura Papard, who is a licensed mental health therapist, but runs a pet loss support group. And Laura, welcome to the show. I'm so personally happy to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. So, I know this is kind of a wide open way to start this, but, of course, everybody kind of has an idea of what pet loss support group would be. But tell us about it. Tell us how you got started in it and what this does. How does this work?
Okay. Well, it does sound sort of obvious, but what a pet loss support group is exactly that. It's a group. It's a support group for anyone that is either anticipating the loss of a loved one, and that is an animal family member, or has experienced the loss of the death of a family member. And you're going to hear me refer to your pets as family members because in reality, that's really what they are. And that's sometimes a foreign concept to a lot of people, especially if they don't understand the animal-human bond. Right. So it's open for anyone that's experienced that loss. I've been facilitating this group for about 8 years. Here in West Palm Beach, Florida. We started once a month, and we're now doing it twice a month. It's free and open to the public. And Dr. Roy, a Palm Beach veterinary specialist, donates the space and sponsors my time. And so it's been going. It's been very well received, and I think it's something that's necessary because when our loved one dies, a pet, it's somewhat not understood by a lot of people. So at the very time we might need support from friends and loved ones, if they don't understand that human-animal bond, they're not able to be there for us. And many times,
Yeah.
in our culture, we don't understand death, and we don't know how to deal with it, even though nobody gets out of your life.
Right.
So grief is a natural and normal response to loss.
Right.
We're all going to experience death in our lives. And so our beloved pets is a family member
Right.
who's, very close to us.
So, obviously you and I share so many stories about all of this, which we don't have enough time for, but, so
For sure.
how did you get into this? Obviously you help people, and what the listeners don't know is that you obviously have had many pets that we have had together, and and we have lost together. But how did you yourself, somebody who got into this field to help people, how did you get into this group? What started it for you?
Well, interestingly enough, one of the organizations that I worked with during the past 15 years of my career as a mental health counselor is I went to work for hospice.
Mm-hmm.
And in hospice, we don't just deal with people who have a family member or a loved one that are with hospice. We actually went out into the area, and we had a crisis team. So we dealt with all different kinds of losses, traumas. We worked with
Mm-hmm.
local service providers. So that's what really started me on the journey of working with loss, working with death. It was a personal loss to me that opened my eyes that this is not
Right.
something to be afraid of, but rather
Right.
something to be supported. And so I was contacted by a person, Andrea Ficocello, who worked with Palm Beach veterinary specialist, and said, gee, they wanted to start a pet loss support group, but I'd be willing to work with them, develop the program, and get it off the ground. And that was
Wow.
8 years ago. And so
Wow.
that's what we did. We started with one night, and we advertised it and basically just through
Took off.
the veterinarians in the area, and it's really taken off.
So I guess
that's
that's a good question, is if somebody is listening to the this interview, what is it, what type of people are you helping? And I know that's, again, a broad question, but who's in your group? I'm sure there's different varieties of people. You said before, people that are just getting ready to lose pets or they've lost pets. I know in my own personal experience, I still see Boris walking around the house. It took me a long time to not be freaked out by it, but tell me who this helps, who this supports, and how.
It really supports anyone that has a love and has developed a bond and a love and a close relationship, or supporting someone that has a relationship with a pet. And those pets we've had, it's not just dogs and cats or horses,
Mm-hmm.
or we've had ferrets, we've had opossums,
Wow.
all parrots, different types of birds. So we've had all types of animals that have, lost their have died, and people of all ages. I do limit, it has to be somewhat a special circumstance for a child to come to group,
Mm-hmm.
only because it's a group of adults. So
Right.
I have had some in some families, but typically it's adults of all ages who are looking for some support with a loss. And grief is a
Right.
natural and normal response to loss. There's no timetable. We don't always start grieving when we experience a loss.
Right.
The circumstances surrounding the death or the loss can impact how we grieve or when we start grieving.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most difficult things in our culture is that many of us feel alone when we're experiencing our grief. And so when you come into a support group, it's a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of grief is we need to be able to tell our story. We need to be able to share that story
Right.
with others. And in telling that story and sharing what's difficult, sharing what's been helpful, it's that support that helps us heal.
That ends up getting it. Well, so, okay. So you are located in the West Palm Beach area primarily. It is in Wellington, correct? Where the group meets?
It is on Forest Hill Boulevard in West
Okay.
Palm Beach. It's Palm Beach Veterinary Specialist. If
Okay.
anyone would like information, they can
Yes.
certainly call me. and or go onto my website. The information is there as well.
And we
oracleparkcounseling.com.
Perfect. Okay.
And the phone number is there as well.
Perfect. That's awesome. And we'll also put this on our Healthy Critters Facebook page for people, because there's always people out there that are going through this. And I think it is the thing that's so special about this is that, if you've lost family members, meaning actually, human family members, and then you go and you have a pet that's lost, I think that people sometimes don't feel as validated feeling that grief. And this is a wonderful thing for people to know that's out there. And I'm sure it's in in other areas of the country too as well, but that's a wonderful way to get support from this. So thank you so much. This has been wonderful. It's a great avenue for people to get some help and actually meet some other people that are going through the same thing. And thank you so much for your time, and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you for having me on. Okay.
No problem.
Have a good evening.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.